Welcome. Today I'll be showing you how to set up a sling for inversions, and we'll go into some forward bends, some deep forward bends, facing the wall, away from the wall, and Sarvangasana, and then relaxing in Savasana. So it's a short class, 30 minutes, a nice class to do when you're tired and you want to re-energize. If you're splitting between your asana practice in the morning and your inversions in the evening. Okay, let's get started. Before we get started, if you want to learn the basics of Iyengar yoga, I've designed a new course, Foundational Iyengar Yoga. This course is for you if you're a beginner, if you've been practicing for a while and you just want to deepen your understanding, or if you're a teacher and you would like to be more inspired, go back to the basics. So it's a 6-week course, 18 different classes, and you'll be able to go through at your own pace. You can find more details in the description box below. Welcome back. Let's get started. I'll show you how to set up for this. This is the sling that we're going to use. So I have 2 ropes, the high ropes. I'm going to take one of the bottom ropes out, and I'll take one end in, so it's looped over. One end has the knot, one end has the loop. I'm going to take the knot inside that loop and pull it till it's tight. Then I'm going to take the knotted end in this knotted end and make a simple knot. So I'm just looping it around, bringing it in, and tying it. Okay. Today I'm going to show you using 2 blankets instead of the skirt. So here, bringing a folded blanket onto one end so that I'm cushioning mainly this set of ropes here, that group of rope. And then I'll take the other blanket and bring it onto the other side. So basically you want them a little bit higher, like so. You don't need to really have it in the center. That rope is not going to affect you much at all. But the other ropes, it's nice to have that cushioning, okay? So even if they fall together, it's fine. You'll come to the front by the wall. Just watch that they don't fall out. And then you can adjust when you go up. All right, so here, I'm going to lift one up. Lift the other one up, and then I want to come up on my toes. I've taken blocks, so it'll make me a little higher. I want to end up with the rope on my lower back, and even if it goes up a little bit, it's okay. I'm going to hold the rope here and walk my feet up. And once I walk my feet up, I'm going to lift up and bring the rope exactly where I want it. So I find my lower back. Okay, that's where I want it. So then once I do that, I press into it. You can straighten your legs and just be here. So here it's on my lower back. It's not lower than the lower back. It's just right at the center of the sacrum. Okay, now from here, you'll walk your feet in, and you're going to bend your knees. So you're bending the knees on the rope side of the wall. When you do that, you start to slide your hands down, bring your feet together in Baddha Konasana, and then lift your tailbone up, and bring your hands down. Okay, here are the blocks that I stood on. So I can use those for my arms, press the hands down, or if the hands go to the floor, you can just press the hands down onto the floor. So when you first come down, just come to the floor so you can feel the safety of the floor. If you feel a little bit fearful, when we go upside down, it's different than our normal orientation, different perspective. So maybe just take a few breaths here. See that, okay, everything's fine. Now you can take your hands on your elbows and bring your arms
Baddha arms, so holding to the back of the head, and with your hands on the elbows and the upper arms, just draw your upper arms down. So you're getting that length through the side trunk. And you can keep walking your feet down a little bit so that you come into a deeper Baddha Konasana, if that's appropriate for you. And then move the buttock up towards your heels. So you're lengthening the lower back. So you'll feel that nice stretch through the inner legs. Bringing your knees toward the wall, any amount as you bring the buttock toward the wall. Stay with the breath as you create that opening. Also create release. So organize the heels, press the mounds of the toes. And then you can also take your hands behind your head like Sirsasana, and with the thumbs right on the occipital bone, the bones at the back of the head, back of the skull, interlace your fingers behind your head like you would in Sirsasana, and draw your forearms down. So the shoulders stay lifted up, the neck lengthens, and then stay with your breath. Okay. Now bring the hands down. Press the hands into the floor, index finger, wrist. Connect with the shoulders. And then you can bring the legs out to the side, Upavistha. Keep the heels pressing into the wall, and as you press the heels, move the thighs to the wall, move the buttocks forward. You can walk your hands back a little bit. Cross your arms again. So the thighs are being lifted up with that rope. So in all of our seated poses, in our forward bends, and our standing, our thighs are moving in different directions. Here, the thighs are lifted up. If you were on the floor in Upavistha, the thighs would be moving toward the floor. Here, they're moving up toward the ceiling. So same direction. And that rope provides a little information about which way the thighs need to be moving. Change the cross on the arms. Relax your face, relax your jaw. Relax the tongue, the inner mouth. And now you're going to bring your hands back onto the floor. In coming out, you can come out the same way. You can bring your feet back together, Baddha Konasana. You can also come out as a handstand. So I'm going to show both ways, all right? So first, coming out in Baddha Konasana, reach up, hold the rope. And then you're going to turn your feet toward the wall, holding with the rope, straighten the legs. Walk the feet down a little bit, and just be there. And then you'll walk your feet all the way down the wall. So I'm going to pause here and just go back into it and show if you wanted to come out as a handstand. Okay, so you bring your hands back on the floor. Take your legs under. If you've been practicing, this is nice to do. If not, maybe you practice handstand before you do it in the ropes. Okay, so you're taking your legs out. Stretch your legs up. Press into the hands, lift up through the shoulders. Keep one hip at the wall, one leg lifting, and then bring one leg over and the other leg over. For those that are still up, you can start to walk down. So I'll just show you walking down. So you're here, and then you just walk down the wall. Most probably you don't need those blocks. If you needed them to come up, don't need them to come down, and then just rest your head at the wall. Take a few breaths there. And then you're going to turn around and bring the abdomen. All right, now I go forward. So I lift up. This rope is below my hip bones. Extend the legs out. So keep the legs below the hips. And then reach your arms down. Hold on to the elbows. The legs are straight, holding on to the arms. Just let your back release. You take your hands on your calves or your heels. I bend my knees and then take hold of these ropes. And I can use those ropes to help me go into a little bit deeper forward bend. And then straighten out again. Bend the knees. Bring the knees onto the wall, the shins and the toes facing up, and drop the knees down. You can walk the blocks forward. Use those blocks to extend and lengthen through the side trunk. Just keep your attention on your breath. Lower the blocks. And then bring your hands down. I have a bolster here as well. You can take the bolster, bring your forearms onto the bolster, bring your head down, and rest your head. So here you're in an inversion again, but it's completely relaxing, supported. Paying attention to your breath, just watching the quality of your breath, quietness of the mind. Change the cross. So this is nice to release the neck, release the head. Balance out the nervous system. And feel support in this forward virasana. All right, and then you're going to come up, straighten your legs, start to walk your feet down. Take your hands back on the ropes. Let the ropes slide up. And now you're going to turn around. Okay, so we're going to go into one more forward bend. So depending on your ability, your capability, there's different ways you can go into this, or different depths. All right, so we're going to come up the wall like we did before in Sirsasana and bring the rope down.
Doesn't have to be exactly on the sacrum because you're going to slide the rope up to the upper back as you can. Okay, so you're straightening the legs. We're coming into a Dandasana position. So your thighs are at the wall. Continue to move the thighs to the wall and then start to slide the rope or slide the blanket up. Just be there. So the rope gives you that connection with the back body. So the back body is moving forward. So as we do our forward bends, it's all about the posterior, the back body. So as you allow those ropes to slide down, back ribs move forward. And you can stay. You can be in this position, you can go deeper, you can be in the position just before. So it depends on you. If you want to go a little bit deeper. So each time you're sliding your hips down a bit more, the rope is coming up a bit higher. So now it's near my shoulder blades, right at the bottom of the shoulder blades. Thighs, I continue to press against the wall, descend the hips. And then here you can take hold of the feet, be right on the center of the heel. You can bring the feet closer together or you can keep the feet further apart. Further apart, a little wider. You can go down a little bit further and just be there. And then you'll come up, turn your feet, lift your hips, and once again, you're going to pull up on the rope as you straighten the leg. Mostly straightening the legs. Press the feet, and then let that rope come down a little bit lower. Just be there. Let your breath come back to normal breath. And then you'll start to walk down. And when you walk down, just keep your head at the wall. Bring your forehead there. Take nice 5, 6, 7, 8 breaths, as much as you need to feel more grounded. Let your breath come back to that passive breath. Okay, and then you can come away from the wall. You can take your blankets away. And I'm going to undo this rope. Just come back into 2 long ropes. So I'll take this rope off. And then I'm going to come into a squat. Uttanasana, and then go a little bit deeper into a forward bend. Okay, we're going to come into a squat. So have these 2 long high ropes, and first come into that squatting position. Let your hips descend down, let your lower back extend, and with the ropes, extend through the side trunk. You're looking straight ahead. Feet pressing evenly on the floor. Have your feet in line with one another. And just allow that rope to lengthen. Lift your middle back where that rope was. And then you'll come forward a little bit more. Sorry, you'll go back a little bit more and come more into a forward bend. So walk your feet back until you feel that you're moving more into a forward bend than you are just a squat. Maybe need to take the bottom ropes at this point. The bottom ropes are better, so take those bottom ropes. Come forward.
And then come into Uttanasana. Fingertips on the floor. Release your head. And then you'll come up. And here we're going to take a bolster and a blanket. So I'm going to take the blanket underneath the bolster. Bring it right up to the wall. And have the bolster about a foot away from the wall. Okay, we're going to come into Niralamba. So you may need to have 2 bolsters. So I'll just get 2 bolsters. So I'm going to position my shoulders and my neck on this first bolster that's closer to the wall. Be right in the center of the ropes, your rope wall. So don't be off to one side, so you can look down and see where you are. And then you're going to lift up, bring your legs up. So you can either press and lift up, or since you have the ropes there, you can use the ropes, hold onto the ropes, and lift yourself up. First, bring the knees on the wall. Now, I'm a little too close. I can feel my head at the wall. So I'm going to bring the bolster a little bit further away. So you don't want your head pressing onto the wall. So just be aware that if you need to make an adjustment, you need to come down and you need to start over. Okay? It's important. Anytime you're in a pose, if it doesn't feel right, you come down and make the necessary adjustments. And then lift up, bring your knees to the wall. Holding onto the ropes. Lift your legs up and bring your pelvis toward the wall. Here, you're going to take your arms back, bring your hands onto the back, walk your hands down the back. At the same time, getting that tuck of the shoulders so the shoulders are rolling under. You can extend your arms and then bring your hands back onto the back. Stretch your toes up. You can keep the feet a little bit further apart to begin with. Roll the thigh in, move the buttocks in. Walk the hands down. So you're moving your shoulders down and you're lifting up. You can extend your arms back behind you, interlace your fingers, press the arms down. So I'm touching this bolster, but if you're not touching it with the forearms or the hands, then have that bolster a little bit higher. Bend your knees. Turn the feet under. Come into Karnapidasana. Knees moving down. You can bring your hands on your ankles. And then to come out, bring your hands behind you, back onto that bolster, and then start to come down one vertebrae at a time. Bring your feet down onto the floor. And then roll over onto your right side. You can take your bolsters away. Fold your blanket. Have that for the head. And you'll come into Savasana. We use the bolster. So the blanket is, in case you have tight shoulders, and your shoulders are lifting, the head is lifting. So just make that adjustment. You can also use it for a little bit of a roll if you have a neck that needs a little bit support. Okay? So make sure you're away from the wall
You're not touching the wall. And just let the knees bend, pelvis on the floor, descending the buttocks. And then just bring your arms out to the side. Feel that you're symmetrical on the left side and the right side. I'm going to come a little bit more away from the wall. I don't want to be touching the wall. I just want my nervous system to relax completely. So if I can feel any props around me or the wall, it's distracting from my nervous system. So feeling that symmetry throughout the body, just let your body relax. Legs completely releasing. Feeling both sides of the pelvis relaxing, shoulders releasing down. Sometimes the front ribs move down. So lift up, move the front ribs up, and move the pelvis down so that the lower back is able to rest on the floor. And then allow the breathing to come back into a quiet, soft inhalation and exhalation. So being in Shavasana, important that once you've done all of that work upside down, that you just allow the body to recalibrate, the nervous system to relax completely, the mind to become perfectly quiet. Feeling that breath becoming that bridge between the body and the mind. Stay with your breath. I encourage you to stay and just be there. Namaste. Okay, thank you for joining me. If you'd like to see some other classes on this kind of work, if you have the ropes, if you don't have the ropes, the first class that I did shows you how to get the ropes, it gives you some context so you can go here and find out some more information. Hope you enjoyed the class, and it takes time practicing, so you can look at the class, stop it, start it, and then fully understand. So everyone's body's a little bit different, so you might have to adjust differently. Just take your time and enjoy. Namaste. See you next time.